I'm building and installing a sculpture in my city's most visible location with no permits, no permission, and no warning, with a goal of making it past 30 days without being taken down. Will I get caught in the act? Will people even like it? Or will the city remove it instantly? Join me on this wild ride as I answer all these questions and more. First things first, do not try this. I could get in serious trouble doing something like this, but I'm willing to risk it. Let's get to it. I live in the city of Clovis, which is smack dab in the middle of California. Known for its rodeo and agriculture, this small city has a quaint Western-style downtown with some modern flair. It's also labeled as the gateway to the Sierras, and is only a little over an hour to get to Yosemite National Park. Every Friday night in the summertime, there's a farmer's market, so I'm gonna head on down there and look for the perfect spot to install this sculpture. All right, so there's 4 main things we're looking for. 1, there's gotta be a space that looks like it needs something. Number 2, it's gotta be very visible. Number 3, it's gotta resemble the area it's in. And number 4, it needs to be safe. All right, let's go find it. Like a spot like this would be absolutely perfect if there wasn't a light pole there. If we could find a spot just like this without the light poles, that would be perfect. All right, check this out. There's a perfect spot for a sculpture. There's only one problem. There's already a sculpture in there. Let's check it out. Looks like good old Ken Curtis here took the primo spot in the downtown, so we just need to find somewhere just like this. Might do some peaches as well. All right, we got the wife stuff out of the way. Now let's get to business. Check out this spot right here. Look at this. It's like a pretty good space right here. This is a very good spot. The main part of downtown is right there. So we are like in the heart of everything right here. It's a cool buggy. This is way bigger than the last one. This is like double the size of the last one. This is spot number 2. Looks like it's missing a tree right here or a little bush. As of right now, it is just a perfect empty spot. This might be it. This is number 1 right now. I don't see anything getting better than this. Spot number 4, we're calling it Centennial Plaza. So right here we have the kind of the same thing, just an empty spot right in front of the firehouse. I was blown away by the number of quality locations I found, but had to go back to my favorite spot number 3 again, and then some issues started to appear. Good old Ken Curtis was only about 50 feet away, and then this parking spot was just inches away from the space, which I don't really like. So I put my thinking cap on, thought real hard, and chose the fire station. This looks very, very good. But let's go back to my checklist and see if it meets all the requirements. First, it has to be a quality space. That's a big check. Second, it's got to be highly visible. Check. Third, the sculpture has to resemble the area, so I'm thinking this has got to be some kind of firefighter theme. And luckily for me, I found a group of firefighters eating lunch right down the street. What would you want in front of it to kind of symbolize firefighters?
I mean, definitely something that's representative of the community that's in.
Yeah.
Something that shows strength, obviously, and inspires folks to kind of trust in the local response of the community.
Yeah, absolutely. Well said. So something that relates to firefighters hits that number 3. And then for number 4, well, we're just gonna have to wait and see about that one. And now I'm gonna have to put my thinking cap back on and try to figure out the perfect sculpture for this space. I like the idea of a life-size bronze firefighter holding a hose, but then I remembered. This is one of my all-time favorite sculpture series by artist Bruno Catalano called The Travelers. I just love the negative space he plays with and the illusion he portrays with the suitcase connection points. This is something I want to try, but with a firefighter holding a hose, and maybe that hose can be the connection point. So without further ado, let me grab my fire hose and let's start this sculpture. Now I know what you're thinking. You're probably thinking to yourself, this guy must be an expert at concrete because he's on the tube of the U. Well, let me tell you, this is probably my second time ever doing concrete. I followed the label exactly how it should go, and this is what it looked like. I'm pretty sure there's supposed to be a lot more water than that, but I just don't get why they would put that in the instructions and mess everything up for me, basically. So if you're a concrete expert, please let me know, what should the consistency be, and should I just completely disregard the labels on these concrete bags? There's two reasons why I'm doing this massive concrete slab. Number one, it's going to give my metal base the support it needs. And number two, I need to make sure nobody can steal this sculpture or nobody can tip it over. It's got to be super heavy and permanently attached to this base, since I can't put any screws into any public spaces. Look at me, I even got to get a new tool for all this concrete work. I got this little spreader thingamabobber, and it actually does a pretty good job at making things smooth, a lot better than I thought it would. When it's all said and done, this base alone weighs over 300 pounds. So not only are anybody on the street gonna have trouble moving it, but so am I. I'm gonna have a lot of difficulty moving this by myself. Here's what's really cool about a sculpture like this. I don't have to do reference templates or anything because it's a human form. I'm literally just gonna measure myself and get all the measurements for that.
20 inches.
So I guess that means I'm making a sculpture of myself as a firefighter, which is pretty ironic because after baseball, I actually wanted to be a firefighter. Back in my first 2 seasons with the Toronto Blue Jays minor league teams, I was giving up more hits than a piñata at a birthday party. I figured I had a good chance of being released the following year, so I spent 5 months getting my EMT license to prep for Fire Academy. Then fate tossed me a curveball. Well, more of a splitter, really. I met pitching coach Rick Langford, who changed my entire arsenal, and suddenly I went from about to be getting released to climbing the ranks and having the best 3 years of my career. In 2015, I made the big league roster, and then followed that up with promptly having a career-ending injury in spring training. 2 years of failed rehabs later, my EMT license expired, my baseball career was over, and I was just too old to start running into burning buildings.
I'm too old for this.
Somewhere in that rehab period, I discovered a passion for art and sculpture, and now here I am, doing what I love because of you guys watching and supporting this channel. Didn't think I was going to go all full autobiography here, but here we are. Oh, and here's a pro tip for you. When you're welding, make sure you're watching where you're welding so you don't weld your own finger. What an idiot. All right, let's get back to this sculpture. Oh, I almost forgot. Last video I carved this elephant and I had an offcut here and I asked you guys what should I carve out of it, and the majority of you said a banana. Okay, maybe you didn't say it just like that, but I don't really read pronunciations in comments. So anyways, the majority of you wanted to see a banana, but I not only gave you just a banana, I gave you 2 bananas. And both of these will be given away to one of you guys. All you gotta do is be subscribed to my channel and leave your best banana joke. I will randomly select 2 winners, and what you do with your banana is all up to you. I don't care. But if it were me, I'd probably duct tape it to the wall for added value. Oh, and if you haven't watched that elephant video, I think you're gonna like it. YouTube seems to be hiding it from a lot of you, so be sure to check it out after this one. All right, back to the build. I don't know about you guys, but after watching the spray foam puff up, it really built up my appetite. And I'm beginning to think I kind of went a little bit off topic. I'm not building a fireman. This looks more like a life-size Cheeto Man. As I make more progress on the sculpture, I start becoming more nervous about what can actually happen to me if I get caught. So finally, I do a quick search and find these violations. And they just keep going. You know what, let's go ahead and just not look at those anymore. That is, it's making me sweat right now. Let's just make the best sculpture we can and see what happens later. I wanted to reinforce the metal hose, so I decided to fiberglass it for even more strength, and I'm hoping this will be sturdy enough to hold up the entire top half of this sculpture. And then after that, it's time for the fun part. I'm going to use some epoxy clay and start building out the details of this firefighter. It's finally time to start making some big aesthetic choices here, and obviously I want this negative space to give a similar resemblance to this sculpture, but I'm just going to cut off a little bit less. I want to cut off both thighs basically, so the top half of the sculpture looks as if it's floating and everything's resting on that hose right there. I'm actually going to leave the two metal supports there for right now because I do plan on reinforcing that hose even more, and I need to wait for more epoxy clay to arrive before I could do that. And while I wait for that, I'm going to start on the oxygen tank on the back of the firefighter just like this. I'm just using kind of scrap pieces I have around the shop. I have this thin acrylic sheet that I'm going to use for the cylinder. Then I'm just going to go ahead and spray foam the top and bottom and carve it into little spheres, or half spheres. I've realized that something just looks a little off on this sculpture, and I think what it is the head is just way too big. So, quick decapitation, and I'm going to go ahead and do something that might be a little controversial, but you'll see that here coming up. I bought a foam mannequin head. Call me a cheater if you want, call me a hack, but this was just a cheap and easy way to quickly get a accurately proportioned head to then put the clay on and sculpt the face. When this sculpture's finished, it's going to look like a real bronze sculpture because I'm going to be painting it with real bronze and patinaing it. So I want the surface to be really rough, so I'm using this drywall compound and I'm just making a very textured surface. That way the patina, it'll fill in all those little crevices and really enhance the sculpture and make it look like a real bronze sculpture. And while doing this, I also forgot that I left out one key ingredient to a firefighter's face. A great looking mustache. I mean, look at that thing. Let's get this guy a great looking stash. All right, real talk. This sculpture is a lot different than my other work. I either have commissioned sculptures that I know are going to a place, or I get to sell them. This one, on the other hand, I've spent already 3 weeks on, and I may not even get to install it. Like, what if the city or someone just doesn't even let me put it out there in the street? Or there's a good chance the city could take it down the next day, and that means all of this is for nothing. So it's hard to kind of find motivation to keep continuing on, knowing that we don't know what's going to happen to this, but there's nothing I can do. Just keep pushing on, because I want to know what happens to this thing, and I want to see how long this thing could last. And I hope we make it to that 30-day mark, but let's go ahead and just keep grinding and finish this thing up. By far the hardest part of the sculpture was the eyes, and I probably spent 4 hours on these, and I even went back after this and redid them again for another couple hours. So this is not what they look like, but I need to switch things up now, so I'm going to go ahead and cut off these metal brackets. And we have a major problem. The hose does not support the top of the sculpture, so my whole plan is now in the gutter. Oh man. That's my whole plan right there. Whole plan gone. So I don't know what I'm going to do now. Pretty brutal. I'm going to have to try and weld this thing back together without catching it on fire, and that's a little bit ironic, trying to not catch a firefighter on fire, but yeah, it was a little iffy. And now here's my plan. I'm going to take this kind of shredded clothing look, and I'm just going to keep this one support bracket but make it as thin as possible, and then having it look like shreds are coming out. And this shred is definitely in the wrong spot. That might look a little funny to some people. So I went ahead and moved that, and now we kind of had a shredded clothing look versus the free-floating look. Like I said previously, I'm using an actual bronze coating paint. This has real bronze flakes in there. That means I can actually patina it like a real bronze sculpture, and I'm really excited to try this out. The patina started doing its magic really quick, and you could see all the green showing through here. And it might look really green to you right now, but all of this will be polished back to have more of a bronze look. Then I went ahead and laser etched a plaque, and the words from the firefighter really resonated with me.
Trust in the local response community.
So I went ahead and dedicated this sculpture to our first responders in the community and added a pretty cool little saying that I found. And now that that's done, it's time to start getting rid of some of this green patina. And I'm just kind of polishing it off all of the softer areas. I want more bronze to show through. So I'm actually adding some additional bronze there. And then it's time for the clear coat, and we are done. It's installation day, and I am beyond nervous. I don't even know if this thing is going to make it there in one piece. We basically have to put it up in the truck and then use all these straps to kind of strap it down and keep it in one place. And then we had to figure out how to install this without getting caught. All right, here's our city working attire. What do you think?
I think we fit in there.
Fit in for the city?
Yeah.
For the city.
Yeah.
For public, public workers here.
Yeah, keeping it safe and looking good for the city.
Yeah, that's what we do. There are so many things that can go wrong. Will the authorities stop us? Will someone from the firehouse catch us? Will the sculpture even make it there in one piece? We're about to just go for it, but I have one trick up my sleeve that's going to help us out big time. We did it. We made it there in one piece. And now for our secret weapons. I brought an easy up and traffic cones. You see, instead of trying to be sneaky and get this thing done as quickly as possible, we decided to own it and pretend like we were meant to be there. So we took our time, we set up camp, we brought all the tools, we started digging, we looked the part, and I went back, got the sculpture, rolled it across the street, and we were ready to install this thing. I could not have imagined a smoother install. This thing worked absolutely perfectly. Nobody said a thing. We had some people walk by. They were just looking at us, thinking that, you know, we were hired by the city to put up this sculpture. I even went out and got 4 LED solar lights so it spotlights this thing at night.
Today.
Once it was installed, I knew my time was limited. I went as fast as I possibly could to get some pictures and video for this.
All right, I think we're good for right here.
And here it is, the finished sculpture installed in one of the most public places in downtown, right in front of Firehouse Number 1. This thing looks like it was meant to be there. It looks like it was placed there by the city. And at night, I think it even looks better, especially with those spotlights lighting it up. I got super nervous the next day, so I decided to make this liability sign that I'm hoping could actually hold up in court if something were to happen with me. So I went on by there first thing in the morning to install it, and the fire engine was right out front. So I took the opportunity to put up the sign and then take some awesome pictures with it. And now the moment I've been waiting for. Let's see how long this thing lasts. I'm driving by every single day. On day 5, I was super nervous. This is a city truck right out in front of the sculpture. Luckily, I did another drive-by and it was just a gardener minding his own business. On day 8, I got a notice that the city's Instagram page posted about the sculpture and had this to say. Luckily, it was all praise and it seems like they really like the sculpture. I don't know how involved this Instagram account is to the actual city council, but I'm calling this a win. Okay, it is day 16. I just went there and something weird kind of happened. My liability sign is missing, as well as the solar lights. So the lights, I mean, it looks so good at night, and it wasn't an eyesore. There were little hidden lights underground, so I don't quite know why someone would take those out. I don't know how I'm ever gonna find out what happened. I wish I could, but I'm just gonna go back tomorrow and see if it's still there. Hey.
Hey, Boyd.
Yep.
So there's a new statue that popped up right in front of Fire Station 1.
Yep.
Would that happen to be some of your work?
That does. Yes, it is.
Our concern is with it being out in public right of way. We don't want somebody damaging it, ruining it, or just doing something with it. So we'd like to try to preserve it.
Okay.
And put it in a location, maybe in the lobby somewhere. You good for that?
Awesome. Yeah. A lot of questions for you. First off, how did you find me? How did you know it was mine?
So I'll tell you, we found there was a video that Boo did, and you liked it.
No way. Okay. Interesting.
I know you're not in trouble, but yes, it does need to come down, unfortunately, for city right away, but...
All right, you as well. Thank you.
All right.
All right.
Take care.
Bye. Wow. My heart is still racing. Like that was nuts. That just out of the blue, someone from the city found, like, how did they even find my number? I mean, wow. Make sure this thing's still running. It's still running. So because of the city's Instagram post that filmed the sculpture, I made a comment on there, and they basically looked me up, found my phone number, and just called me. And I was I'm still sweating. Like, I'm sweating right now. I thought I could have been going to jail right now. That might be a little exaggerating, but I might have been given at least a huge fine or something. And this guy was just awesome. He said the firefighters love it. The chief of the station wants to keep it. Unbelievable. This is literally the best case scenario. Is this real? Wow. I've had a little bit more time to process what just happened, and I have two key takeaways from this. One, never leave a comment on social media if you might have done something wrong, because that is very easily trackable. And number two, I still think this could be some kind of sting where I show up tomorrow and they just put me in cuffs and throw me in jail. I'm hoping that's not the case. He didn't sound like that's the type of guy he is, but am I getting set up right now? We're gonna find out tomorrow because I'm supposed to meet him. So, here we go. This thing's wild, man.
You're in the crew right now, too.
So I showed up in the morning and it was not a sting. It was actually the reverse of a sting. I had the whole fire crew come out, everybody laughing, everybody enjoying themselves in front of the sculpture. They then took me to where the sculpture will be displayed permanently at their training facility right down the street. I got straight to work digging this thing back up, and I'm so grateful for the firefighters over at Station 1 for helping me not only move this to my truck, but they went on a quick call and then actually met me back up at the training facility to help me reinstall it. These guys are awesome. I ended up leaving the spot better than when I first saw it and then headed on down to the training facility. So I didn't end up reaching my goal of 30 days, but I think the outcome turned out even better than that. So much work went into creating this sculpture, and I can't thank the Clovis firefighters enough for all their help and support along the way. I also want to thank the city of Clovis and the administration. It's not every day a random sculpture gets installed in your city. I just want to thank you guys for not arresting me or fining me into debt. My family absolutely loves living here, and if you've loved watching this video, YouTube thinks you'll also love watching this video. See you next time.